Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Love and Lore podcast, the podcast where we spread love through sharing our stories and life lore. So, this episode is a little different. As you can see, we are not on camera today, and we are also using our old mic. Oh my gosh. I decided that, since we're still fresh into the new year, it's still January, I was thinking let's do a Q&A. Let's do a little get to know me. And I do know we do have some new listeners. So for those of you who are new here, or for anyone that's just listening in, or if this is your first episode of mine, I welcome you with open arms. I'm so grateful you're here. And to make it a little bit more special, I thought that I would have you get to know me the same way I got people to know me in the very beginning, which is using my old mics with no camera and just how it used to be in the very beginning. And it's honestly really cool that I'm holding my old mics right now and I'm in my closet and it's literally 1 in the morning. Like, I just feel so, it's very bittersweet. So, if you go all the way back to the very beginning, my first episode was a get to know me. And the way I did that was I just went on my spam account on Instagram and asked my friends to ask me some questions. So, for that nostalgic element and to have you guys feel like you were here from the very, very beginning, I thought I would re answer those exact same questions. And it's also really cool for me too because I can answer the questions with so much more confidence and it just feels really authentic, especially with the old mics. In addition to those, I also did go on my Instagram again and ask my friends and my followers to ask me even more questions. So this is going to be a updated get to know me and Q&A. So since this is a get to know me, I thought I would start off by answering some basic questions and telling you some facts about myself. So, my name is Sophie. It's so nice to meet you. I'm currently 21 years old and I'm turning 22 in October of this year. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada, but I was born and raised in the Philippines, and my family and I moved here to Canada when I was 6 years old. In terms of my education, I am currently in my fourth year of university. I'm studying psychology and I'm also thinking of studying communications as well. I'm going to be so honest right now. I have no idea what I'm doing at school. Ever since I got into university, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and I still am figuring it out, and that's okay. If you feel the same way, then please don't worry, you are not alone. I'm just taking courses that I think are interesting and just trying to navigate what I like, but so far, I think psychology and communication seem to be what interests me the most. And I'm just having fun and I'm very grateful for my education, so I'm trying to make the most of it. But in all honesty, guys, I have no clue what I'm doing for school, and that is okay. I created the Love and Lore podcast in April of 2025, and the timeline there is a little blurry. I do explain more of how this all started in episode 50. And in terms of why I started the podcast and what inspired me, so there is a combination of many, many different things, but I've always wanted to do content creation and I've always wanted to make my own podcast, my own YouTube channel, and just really channel this side of me. And I've always been so scared to do it. But in 2025, I took the risk and I am forever grateful that I did. I've always loved listening to podcasts. They've helped me through so much of my life. They make me feel less alone. They make me feel productive. They make me feel good about myself, and they're educational and they're empowering. And I wanted to impact people the same way that I felt impacted by them. I also got the chance to co host for a podcast in my school's club. And through that experience, I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with every part of podcasting, the planning, the scripting, the recording, the editing. But I think the biggest thing for me was being able to hear our guests share their stories and just giving them that platform to talk about their experiences was so rewarding to me. And being able to share that, I think it's such a gift. And being able to connect with them at such a deep level, it was just such an amazing feeling to me. And through that experience, I got to learn how to also navigate the creators platform. I got to learn how to use a camera and seeing all the hard work and the product come to life and listening back to the episodes and having our guests listen back to the episodes and being able to share it online and just make an impact to the community. Even if one person listens to it, just the fact that we were able to send a message out there was an amazing, amazing feeling. And through that experience, I just got so inspired and I told myself that I wanted to make a podcast and I wanted to talk to people, share their stories, interview them, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. You only live once. Let's do it. So, yeah, that experience played a big role in the creation of Love and Lore. Now we're going to move on to the actual Q&A questions. So, I'm going to start off by answering all the questions that I answered in episode 1. The first question I was asked in episode 1 was, "Why are you Team Conrad?" WTF. So this was asked by my cousin, and this is a bit of a niche topic if you don't know what the Summer I Turned Pretty is. And for context, my cousin was in her The Summer I Turned Pretty era last summer, and she was obsessed with Jeremiah. And then when I told her I was Team Conrad, she like crashed out on me, and yeah, that's why she asked me this question. I haven't caught up on the most recent season yet, so my answer is literally based on the books and all the seasons except the most recent one. But yeah, I'm Team Conrad because he has just been the only constant in Belly's life, or love life, I should say. So no matter how indecisive she was, I knew deep down that all she wanted was Conrad, and we all knew that he wanted her too. So I've just always loved that super deep connection between the two of them. And if you are caught up with everything, you would know what Jeremiah did. So that's also another reason. And guys, I actually did ask Athea again if she was Team Jeremiah, and her answer was, "I'm just happy he's happy." Period. Okay, so those were our updated answers on this first question. So apologies if you don't know what the Summer I Turned Pretty is. It's a pretty niche question, but that was literally the first question I've ever answered on this podcast. So yeah, thanks, Athea. Next question is, what is one thing you miss the most? So in episode 1, I said 2020. I miss my 2020 era. Loki, I still do miss that era, but I'm also kind of over it. I think it's time to move on from that. But I think for my updated answer, I would say my Vegas trip. So I went to Vegas for my 21st birthday, and okay, when I was actually in Vegas, I kind of wanted to go home the entire time. It was just a lot of walking, and I was inhaling so much secondhand smoke, and I missed my room and I missed my routine because, guys, I love my routine. I need to be on my routine at all times, every single night, and if it gets disrupted, then I crash out, okay? And also, I got so sick after my trip, so it was just not super cute in the moment. But looking back now, it really hit me 3 months later. I just miss it so much. I think about Vegas every single day. I like look back at old photos and old videos, and I just want to go back. I even vlogged it on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I miss the lights, I miss the energy, I miss the nightlife. It was also October, so it was a little bit more colder, and I just miss it. And I want to go back so bad. So, mom and dad, if you're listening to this, let's go back for my 22nd birthday to Vegas. But that is definitely something that I miss. Okay, my next question was, what do you do to feel most connected to yourself? So my previous answer to this was getting pretty and making TikToks and making thirst traps. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. I can't believe I admitted that online. But no, yeah, like literally that's what I did and still do, honestly. Like getting all pretty, putting on lashes, and taking selfies and TikTok. I think that is such an amazing form of self-love. And you know what? I really do feel connected to myself when I do that. So yeah, I would still say that, but to add more things, I also like to journal. I love to journal, especially nowadays. I really like to write, and writing down all my feelings is so good. I know you hear this all the time, but it really, really does help and ground you. In my previous answer, I also mentioned being with nature, going on walks. I still agree with that. I love going on my walks and marinating in the sun and the grass, you know what I'm saying? And just doing things that I love. Straight to the point, I think writing would be the biggest way I connect to myself now. But also, of course, still looking pretty and making TikToks and taking selfies. Next question was, what makes you Sophie? So definitely my hobbies, reading, dancing, playing the piano, and all that stuff. I love art. I love expressing myself and being creative. I love being busy. I love talking to people, and I love inspiring people and just being really bubbly. I'm definitely more of an extrovert. And to add on to the list now, I would say posting myself online and expressing myself online, posting content, making podcast episodes, making YouTube videos, and just being online. I can be fully myself when I'm talking to you guys, and it's just really cute. So, yeah, that is what makes me me. Next question was, what was high school like for you? So high school was honestly really good. I enjoyed my high school experience. And it kind of sucks because I feel like when I'm with my friends, they don't feel the same way. I feel like everyone really didn't enjoy high school. And I'm always the type of person that's like, remember when? And I'm very nostalgic and I always want to talk about high school memories and, all that stuff. So I almost feel embarrassed to talk about high school because I loved it so much. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna say it now. I don't care. I loved high school. I had a great group of friends. I liked to study, and I was also in theater, and I think that also played a huge role in why I loved high school so much. And I just made sure to do things that I really enjoyed. And I'm also very grateful to even say that because I know that not everyone has a great high school experience. So, yeah, I'm forever grateful that I had a good high school experience. Last question was, how much storage does your phone have? So, my phone holds 128 gigabytes of storage, and I have used up 94.46 gigabytes. So, honestly, this is not bad at all. Like, I'm always having storage issues. So, you know what, guys? I am impressed. So there you go. Those are all the questions that I answered in episode 1. I feel like I answered more, but I don't think the remaining ones were from Instagram. I just kind of answered random ones. But yeah, shout out to the people, the very first people that asked me questions on my spam account. And to my new listeners, I hope that you enjoyed getting to hear all these answers as well. All right, so now we're going to move on to our new questions. Thank you to those who submitted questions. I'm so excited to answer them. I love answering questions. I love doing Q&As. I love watching Q&As. So this is honestly a dream come true. So thank you, thank you, thank you. The first question is, how did you choose Love and Lore as the podcast name? So, to be honest, I think it just kind of came to me. That sounds really cheesy, but I honestly do think it came to me. I don't know, like I really dang that voice crack. I think just one day it like came to me and I was like, wait, I kind of like this. And the more I thought about it, I was like, wait, this is so fitting. Like, we're literally spreading love through sharing stories and life lore. And it was cute, it was catchy, it was short, it was really sweet. And I think it just works. It worked out so well and it just aligns so much with the mission and the goal for it, and I just really like it. I'm going to share a bit more lore behind the name. So, the word lore, I did mention this in my episode with Kyle, but when Kyle and I were working at Playland in the summer of 2024, I believe, we were just talking because it was slow at work, and he said the word lore, and I was like, wait, I really like that word. So, that also played a little bit of inspiration as well. And I'm going to share even more lore behind the name actually. So, I've had this creator account for like years, ever since I think my first year or second year. And the name of the podcast was called Sophie's Silly Podcast. And it was super unserious. I had one episode and it was with Kiara. We talked about school and it was one episode. I did not take it seriously. The profile picture was literally my cousin's dog and that went nowhere, but it was called Sophie's Silly Podcast. And I just kept that creator account and that episode was up for like 2 to 3 years. So yeah, I've had this account for a long time under that name. And then I changed it to Love and Lore. Oh, that's so cool. So yeah, it was called Sophie's Silly Podcast at one point. And also something that I never shared was in the process of making the name, I was like, wait, this really, really eats. But in my first few episodes, and honestly, still to this day, like even now, I would cringe so hard at the name of my podcast. Like when people bring it up, still cringe sometimes. Like, what? Such a cringe name. But you know what, guys? I think it just worked and it's just stuck with me ever since. And again, it quite literally embodies the entire mission for the podcast and the goal of the podcast. And it's just so me and it's so fun and it's so cute. And I love the name. There you go, guys. That is the background behind the name Love and Lore. The next question is, what is the scariest part of posting yourself online? So I think the biggest one for me was just looking stupid. When you first start off with anything in life, whether that be posting content or starting a new job, or being the new kid at whatever, like you always feel super stupid. You always feel like you don't belong there. And it's definitely a big mental battle that you have to go through. Like even to this day, like I still get super self-conscious sometimes of people thinking like, who does she think she is? Like why is she even posting this? Like she thinks she's all that. Like why is she doing that? But honestly, guys, despite all that, I've never had so much fun in my entire life. Like posting is so much fun. Like, no matter how scary it is so much fun. I love expressing myself online. And it just feels like a void has been filled. Like, I'd be posting all the time on TikTok, and I used to be so scared to post publicly on TikTok. So it's just all pouring out of me now, and it just makes me so happy. And on top of that, if it inspires people or if it makes people happy or it lightens up someone's day, it honestly just makes it so much more worth it. It makes everything worth it. And also, when you're further down the road, you can look back at your old stuff and be like, "Oh, so cute," and you feel all nostalgic. Like it's all such a beautiful like art form. So cringe, but that it's just an art form. Once you get comfortable with posting and you get over the fear, it just becomes so much fun. The next question is biggest pet peeve with filming. I think the biggest pet peeve for me would be when I finish recording and I thought I ate, I thought all the footage looked really good, and I watched the clips back and there's just something wrong with the clip. Like either my hair is weird, or there's something in the background that shouldn't be there, or just something is not right in the frame. Like something that I can't fix through editing. It's just such a bummer because either I can't use the footage or I use it and it bothers me. And it just sucks, especially when you're so proud of the footage as well. I would say that's my biggest pet peeve. Another pet peeve I have, I always record really late at night because that's when everyone's sleeping. Like, I still feel self conscious when I'm recording, and my entire family can hear me. And mind you, my house isn't even that big, too. So, literally, everyone can hear me. I would even argue my neighbors can hear me, too. So, I always record really late at night. And a pet peeve I have is when someone wakes up or if someone walks in my room is a bit of a bummer because guys, I reached flow state like I was doing so well and then I get interrupted, but to be honest, it's not that deep. It's not that big of a deal. But I do love my family and they are so so supportive and I should not be embarrassed to record in front of them. But yeah, that is my answer for that. The next question is, what do you want people to feel when they see your content? This is such a good question. I just want them to feel empowered. I want them to feel inspired. I want them to feel moved. I want them to feel like they can do anything. The internet can be a very dark and scary place, and it's filled with lots of negativity and all this stuff. So, if I could provide just one positive space on the internet, that is like my biggest goal achieved. Like, that is a dream for me. And something I want to add to this is my experience when consuming content and growing up and watching all these YouTubers and influencers online, right? Growing up, I really felt like YouTube and the internet and social media was my safe space. It provided me with so much comfort during hard times, and going on YouTube and watching all my favorite YouTubers was literally part of my routine. And so many of them inspired me, and so many of them made me feel so confident and have helped me through so much. And I would always hear them talk about how much it means to them when people are impacted by their content and how much their support means to them. And now that I basically can see their point of view, it really does feel that way. Like over the past few weeks, I've gotten so many amazing comments from people in my personal life saying that I've inspired them to do this or you motivate me so much. And I can cry just talking about it because that is honestly like the biggest compliment. And that's all I want. Like, that's all I want people to feel when they see my content and see my stuff. And yeah, like when I was little, YouTube was always my escape. And I would always watch my favorite YouTubers. And I want to be that person for someone who might need it as well. So yeah, I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel empowered, inspired, and I want you to feel good about yourself. The next question is, what's a redirection you're grateful for happened even though it hurt back then? So I would trace this back to high school. I really wanted to be in the volleyball team. I tried out for almost every single year and never got in. And I just thought being part of the volleyball team was so cool. And I wanted to be one of those girls that were on the volleyball team. So I was honestly really sad every single time I didn't get in. And in grade 12, I tried out and didn't make it. And some more lore behind that. I think I did so bad that the coach thought I was a grade 11 and all the girls that tried out were grade 12s. So that was really humbling. But you know what, guys? Rejection is redirection because during volleyball season is also main stage season, and main stage is our school's annual play, and the whole production lasts from like October to January, February ish. So if I made it on the volleyball team, I would not have been able to be part of the theater program for my senior year. And it was actually during my senior year where I auditioned to be part of the cast. And all throughout high school, I was in main stage, I was in the program, but I was never acting. I was always behind the scenes. And it has always been a dream of mine to be on the stage and to actually be acting. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just audition. Let's try this out and we'll see where this takes me. And I got in and I had the best time. I think main stage was the highlight of my senior year for sure. And if I made it into the volleyball team, then I would never have been able to experience that. And I could make a whole another episode on how much drama has changed my life because it has quite literally changed my life, okay? So there we go, guys. Rejection is redirection. The next question is, what is the best compliment you've ever received? So, the best compliment, this is such a cute question as well. So, I used to volunteer with kids, and in this program, I was able to teach drama. So, as you can see, drama has quite literally changed my life. And I structured my classes the same way that my high school drama classes were structured. We started with question of the day in the beginning of each class. And on one of my sessions, there was a little boy that asked, "What's the question of the day?" And that made me so happy because it just showed how excited he was. And it's just a little thing, right? But to me, it meant the world to me. Like the fact that he was eager to know and the fact that he was excited just made me so happy because as a drama kid, I always looked forward to question of the day and it was just so full circle. Another compliment that I received through volunteering was that I had a very calming teaching presence. So I was very flattered by that compliment. Next question is, what does being brave look like in your daily life? I really want to work on this more, but when I'm in public and someone makes me uncomfortable, I really want to work on vocalizing my discomfort. I think that definitely embodies bravery in everyday life, especially because I'm always on public transit and I'm always walking about. I really want to practice that more. And also complimenting people every day. It's so scary to just say that, someone looks nice or someone's outfit looks good. It's so scary, but it's literally free and it's so good. It makes people's day. It's an act of kindness and it's also an act of bravery. I try to compliment at least one person in person every single day. It's scary, but it's so much fun. The next question is, what motivated you to keep going despite all your fears and doubts? I think the biggest thing for me is knowing that I'm helping someone out. I'm always thinking about that one person that comes back to my content every single week as a form of escape or just because, they feel inspired by my content and look forward to my posts every week, right? I'm always thinking about them because this kind of connects to the previous question, but, you know, as a form of escape when I'm sad, I always go to my comfort YouTubers. I want to be that person for someone too, and knowing that I can just make their day by showing up, no matter how scared I am, is the biggest blessing for me. And I just want to help people and I want people to feel impacted by that. So, yeah, I show up for that one person that needs it. Even for me, like to this day, there are so many creators that I watch and come back to, even if they're not even that big. I come back to their content because it makes me feel comforted and I'm rooting for them and I love when they post. So, yeah, I want to be that person for someone too. And again, despite all the fears and the doubts, I also know that this has been a dream of mine and it makes me so happy and I want to honor that. And by showing up, I am honoring my dreams and it is such an amazing thing to know. I also show up for documentation purposes. When I look back at my old stuff, I want to feel so proud that I still showed up even though I was scared to make that episode one day or I was scared to make that video one day. So, yeah, definitely documentation as well. All right, next question is, do you have any advice for someone who wants to start their own podcast/talk show? This is such a good question, and I think it's just so cool that I'm answering this question because months and months ago, I would be the one seeking answers for this question. But the first thing I would say is to be yourself and make it fun. Add little quirks and little elements to your show and to your podcast that make it so you and make it so unique. Because when you are 100% yourself, you are going to have so much fun. And that is the one thing that people look for, right? Is personality. Like what makes you stand out? So just add personality, be yourself, be authentic, and you will naturally just draw your audience to that. And yeah, it's just so much fun when you're yourself. So the next piece of advice that I have is that things will take time to develop. You are not going to have all the answers right away, and you just have to trust the process and you have to just learn to experiment and you have to have a growth mindset. I feel like when it comes to starting stuff like this, you just want to have all the answers right away. You just want to get really, really good right away. But in reality, progress is so slow. And the only way you grow is by taking action. So I guess that's another piece of advice is taking action and doing things out of your comfort zone and taking risks and trying new things. And that takes time and that takes courage. And ultimately, it'll all come together and you will figure out your rhythm. And that is something I'm still learning and still in the process of. So, yeah, it's definitely important to know that things take time. So, my third piece of advice, and this is honestly a bit of a hard one to swallow, but from an outsider's perspective, it does look really easy to start a podcast. You're just yapping, right? It doesn't seem that scary, but I promise you, it is terrifying. I don't know if it was just me or I'm just like a super scared person, but when I tell you guys after episode one, I was like, what the F am I actually doing? I was so overwhelmed. It just hit me like, I don't know how people do this. Like, how? Like, this is insane. Like, it's so scary posting yourself online, especially as someone who has never done this before. I did not anticipate it to be this scary. Everything is easy before you actually start it, and that is something I did not anticipate. And yeah, like I said, it does seem really easy, right? You're just yapping to the mic and you're just yapping to your friends. But in reality, when you realize that this is actually the whole world you're opening up yourself to, it is terrifying. And you are willingly choosing to make yourself vulnerable to the world. That is a lot to process and a lot to take in, and something that I did not realize would hit me so hard. But that is something that you want to keep in mind. You have to be ready to be vulnerable and just feel the fear and do it anyways. This is one of my favorite quotes. Just face the fear, just do it, and follow through. Following through is so important because for me, the biggest thing that helped me gain so much more confidence was actually posting and actually following through. The more I posted, the more confident I got. And that leads me to my next piece of advice is confidence, confidence, confidence. This also takes so much time and so much patience and practice, but you just got to be confident. Like you just got to do it. There's this one guy on TikTok that I always think about whenever I feel scared because he posts motivational videos, he posts pep talks, and I just instantly feel so much more confident when I think about his content and think of his advice. And that is another piece of advice right there is to have role models and inspirations, people to fall back on when you feel scared. My next piece of advice is to document everything. Just knowing that your growth is literally being documented online is pretty cool. This includes all your mistakes, all your embarrassing moments, all your successes, all your failures. Everything is documented for people to see. It's just so, it's scary, but I think it's also such a beautiful art form. And that vulnerability is so cool and so precious because not everyone is able to do that. So, yeah, yes, your content is documented online, but also document things behind the scenes. Like I have an external hard drive and I keep all my documentation in there. Like pictures of me setting up and little moments here and there, like little tiny moments, they're all documented. And knowing that you're able to look back on all those one day is just very, very rewarding. And my last piece of advice is to know your purpose and your mission. This is what is going to keep you grounded. This is what you're going to fall back on when you feel like giving up. You have to know why you started, and you also have to be very passionate about why you started it. All right, we have arrived at our last and final question, and it is what are your plans for the future? So, I don't know. In terms of education, is a big one. I really don't know what I'm doing at school right now, but that is okay. I think some people might find that scary, but to me, I just see it as a pathway for so many possibilities, and I'm very excited to see where I end up. And yeah, I have no clue, but I'm embracing that, and I'm very grateful that, I'm still open to so many available options. Something that I do know for sure is I want to keep going with content creation and podcasting and my YouTube channel. I love doing it so much, and I do want to continue this in the future. I also do want to move out. Sorry, mom and dad. I do want to move out. I mentioned this in my previous episode, but it is one of my lifelong dreams to move into my own apartment and to live on my own and be independent. I dream of it every single day, and I'm so excited to move out one day. I also wrote to be independent, take care of my family, and I'm so excited for it all. I'm a very independent person, and I can't wait to explore more of that the older I get and taking care of my family. Yeah, I really do want to play a big role in helping them. I want to give back for all they've done for me in my childhood and raising me, and also because they've been so supportive of me, I want to give back in every single way I can. So, yeah, I can't wait to be able to do that and provide for them one day. And that is a wrap on all the questions for this Get to Know Me and Q&A. It is 3:10 a.m., guys. This took a lot longer than I anticipated, and I was stuttering so much. I am going to have a blast editing this episode. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope you got to know me a lot more. And again, if you're new here, I welcome you with open arms. I am so thankful that you're here, and I hope we have lots of fun together as this podcast grows. And to my longtime listeners, and to my friends, and to my family, thank you so much for all your support and all your love. I am so, so thankful for all of you. And on a final note, just to end off the episode, it was really cute to be able to answer all these old questions and doing my podcast the way I used to. This was really cute in my closet, a self solo date in here. It's so awesome that I feel so much more confident and I was able to kind of go back down memory lane and do this again. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so, so thankful for each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next episode.